What is going on, Gaslanders? It's your boy Foe, and I know what you're asking yourself. What is the deal? Why is there another video coming so soon? It's because I can't stop doing Gaslands things. That's why you're getting another video so soon. It's because I had some extra time to myself, and I'm doing some more Gasland stuff because I can't get enough of this game. My friends are playing it. I'm playing it with my boys. We're all having a great time, and it's a total blast. And I need gates, okay? I've been thinking about gates. As a matter of fact, in that last video when I was talking about stripping paint and getting all that stuff taken care of, I was also thinking about, what am I gonna do for gates? I've been using paint pots as gates. I've been using rock formations as gates. I've even used a coffee cup one time for one side of the gates because I need gates, so I gotta make them. I got stuff. So what I'm gonna do is, got my cup of tea. I got the stuff to make gates. Let's get to it. So what I did was, I went to Blick Paints, which is the art supply, basically the big name art supply store in New York City. There's plenty of other little mom and pop shops that sell art supplies and whatnot, but Blick is the shop that has mostly everything. That's where all the art students go to pick up their supplies, and they have a drafting section. Now, why do I want to go to a drafting section? I'm not doing a floor plan. I'm not building a house. But guess what they do in drafting? They build model houses. And so you get all this cool stuff to use for modeling purposes. So I went into Blick Paints, ran over to the drafting section. As I was running over there, this old woman, she was like, "What are you doing? Slow down. Why are you running through the store?" I told her, "Listen, ma'am, no offense, get out of my way. Just get out of my way. I got stuff to do. I have to build some gates for Gaslands. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're just in my way, and don't make me run you over." She looked at me like I was nuts, and she was like, "You're crazy." I said, "You know what, lady? I think you're right. I'm crazy for Gaslands." So that's what I'm doing. I'm building some gates. I am out of control today. So there's a company called Plastic Struct, and they make all different types of stuff for drafting. And they make plastic card, they make I-beams, they make these metal girders, they make a whole bunch of stuff. So if you have a big name art supply near you and they have a drafting section, ask them for the Plastic Struct stuff. And they have all different scales. They have larger scales, they have small scale. You just gotta find what works best for you and pick it up. It can be a little pricey though. That's the one thing. The stuff could be a little pricey. And if you could find other ways to make it, I would do that first. But if you just want to go in and you want to get exactly what you need, then go and buy some of this stuff. So I picked up some of these right here, which I'm going to use probably for the sides or the top of my gates. Now, I was thinking about doing gates that were connected, but I kind of don't want to do one fixed size. And I saw a lot of guys out there have a great idea of doing, separate gates, where you have one gate here, one gate there, so you can make the gates as large as you want or as small as you want. They're adaptable, and that's what I like about them. Because sometimes you want to throw a little curveball at the drivers. You have nice big gates, everybody's going through, then maybe on that second or third gate, you make it smaller. You make them get close, you make them engage, you make them squeeze through that gate. Maybe someone's going to hit the side of the gate, maybe someone's going to crash in front of the gate and they're going to hold up the whole entire thing. Who knows? But it's fun to be able to have the option to make the gates as wide or as small, narrow as you want. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this right here. I got some I-beams right here. These are going to be good to use. I've used the I-beams for this ram. If you check out that ram, I cut up one of the I-beams and I made that ram. So there's plenty of uses, as you know, for these things. I got some double diamond pattern plastic card. The scale is, it's a little off, but you know what? This was the best I could find, and it works. I've been using it on my cars, and I think it goes fine. Then I got some regular, you know, basic white plastic card. And we're gonna make some gates. I got this wire mesh. Now this is what, I had a lot of people asking me what I use for the mesh, like this car has in the windshield. Or like, you know, what is the mesh I use? Now a lot of people go to maybe the fruits and vegetable store, you find like the netting that some fruit comes in, you could use that. But that scale might be a little too big. There's plenty of other options, but I went in the same art supply store in Blick Paint. I went to the section that does sculpting with clay, and this is like a wire mesh that you would use, and then you would sculpt clay on top of this. And they have all different sizes. So I got the finest one, and this stuff works really good for Gaslands. And I just cut a little piece out here and there. I toss it into the windows of my cars, and it looks pretty good. I even got some on the side of the monster truck right there. You see? As like rock guards or whatever, and it works fantastic. It was, you know, it wasn't cheap, it wasn't expensive, but I got a ton of it, so I'm never gonna need this for a long time. So there you go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a small break. I'm gonna start the building process, and I'm gonna get back to you guys, and I'm gonna explain where I am and how I got there. All right, be back in a few. Hey peeps, I'm back. Guess what? We have a set of gates. Now this is what I did with my plastic card. All the pieces I showed you in the very beginning of this video. I'm explaining what I did here. So I had these wood circles, which I had for a long time. I was going to use them as bases for I think it was a Space Marine Terminator army or a monstrous creature army for Tyranids. Whatever it was, I was at Adepticon. And there was a guy there, and what he was doing was he was selling all of these wooden bases, and he had them for real cheap, so I bought a whole bunch of them. And I never got to make that army, so I had these bases for a long time, and it's the perfect application for these circles. So I got them right there. So what I did was I took an I-beam, I took one of these bad boys, and I cut it down into equal parts. So these two bases, it took me about one of these and a quarter of another one of these sticks to get the length that I have here. So what I did was then I took the eye brackets, I think these are girders, I'm not sure exactly what these are called, but I took these and I cut them to about whatever length I thought was going to be great for my Gasland gates. What I did was I took some of my cars and I put them next to it, and I kind of gauged how tall I wanted the gates. But I didn't want them crazy tall, because I want to be able to throw these in a case and be able to take these with me on the go in case I want to do any games on the road, show people how to play, demo games and whatnot. I wanted to have them portable enough where I could throw them in a case if I want with my cars. So what I did was I took 4 pieces of the I-beams, and what I did was I took the girder piece and I put it in between 2 of the segments that I cut up. And when those dried, I turned it sideways, I took 2 more pieces and I glued them on the sides. And that's how I got the base of my gate. As simple as that, and then I glued it down to the base. And then what I did was I took some plastic card, I cut squares, boom boom, I cut 4 squares, I glued them to the sides of the girders, easy peasy, and then I put on some rivets to make it look a little better, to give it some texture, to make it nice, make it look a little bit, you know, like it's manufactured. And then what I did was I was thinking, how can I label it which way they have to go through the gates? Because, you know, you have most of them, when you have the gates all connected in one, they have a bottom piece which has the arrows pointing which way they should be going through. So what I did was I put signal lights. I took some plastic card, I cut out some circles, and I made signal lights on both sides of the gates. So on one side, they'll be painted green. On the other side, they'll be painted red. So obviously green means go. Red means, yo, you're going the wrong way. You're gonna have to turn around and go through the gate the proper way if you want this to count. If you see red, you're going the wrong way. Stop. 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 Go around and go through the right way. Now, that's how I did that. And the rivets, I know I'm gonna have people ask me, hey Fo, how did you get those rivets? And can you explain to me how you make rivets? There's tons of ways you can make rivets. Some people take long, thin plastic rod and they slice them and they slice thin slices to make their rivets. That's one way of doing it, and that's a little out of control. So I found a way, and this is the method I use to make all my rivets, and how I made to make the signal lights, as well as the rivets, and as well as some of the rivets on my cars. So I got my plastic card right here, and I punch holes in the plastic card to make my rivets. But people ask, how you punch in these holes? Now they have those those hole punches for paper. Now if you could find that makes all different sizes, that's the way to go. But I couldn't find one that made them small enough that I could use for rivets on a smaller scale. These are larger rivets because it's a larger sign, but for like something small I like to put on my car, I got this bad boy right here. Boom. You're like, what is that? This, my friends, is a hole puncher for leather. This is a leather hole punch. This is what you would use if you wanted to make extra holes in your belt or just punch a hole through leather. This is what you use. There's all different sizes. What you do is you turn this wheel till you get to the size you want. Then you put this in here and you punch a hole. And then these have holes. So it's something to punch a hole, but the piece that falls out, that's the middle piece, makes a great rivet. Now, a lot of these you have to kind of prep them before you use them for what I want to use them for. Because what happens is, you punch a hole in the plastic card, and you see on the top of this one, the plastic gets stuck in that tube, and it's really hard to get them out. So what you have to do is you have to keep on punching until you kind of fill that tube up. And then once you get it full, it will just make indentations. And if you make the indentation deep enough, what you do is you go in, you see how that one there, I made an indentation of one, then you could just punch it out. So you make a bunch of indentations going across the whole thing, and then you take a toothpick or something and you knock them all out one by one, and you have your rivets. And what I like to do is, especially on the tiny ones, I'll make a whole bunch of them and I'll put them in a bag for later use. Because it's kind of a pain in the butt. But if I need to do something like signal lights or the larger rivets, I'll do them as I go. But for the tiny ones, what I'll do is I'll sit down one day, I'll watch some people talking about Gaslands on YouTube, I'll punch a whole bunch of these indentations, make a whole bunch of rivets, put them in a little bag, and I have them for a while. So that's how I make the rivets. Now, what's going to be the next phase of these gates? You're going to want to see them painted. I mean, should I just end it here and just be like, this is it, this is gates? No, we got to paint them. How are we going to put numbers on these bad boys? I'm going to show you how I'm going to put numbers on. I picked up these from the variety store. They were like $1. They came with this one, and they came with a whole bunch of different sizes. They came with a whole bunch of different templates so you can make different size letters. So even if you have a car and you want to throw a number or a letter on a car, you could do it with these too. That I would rather use decals, but to each his own. I've seen some people pick up like the letters and numbers that are cut out already, and you could have just glued them onto the sign. Now the arts craft store near my place didn't have it, so I picked up the stencil instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the stencil, I'm going to put it like so, and I'm going to paint it, airbrush it, or I'm going to dab a sponge on it and just get the numbers up there. And that's how I'm going to do it. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna get some paint, I'm gonna paint these up, and then I'm gonna get back to you with a finished product. All right, guys, see you in a little bit. What is going on? I'm back, the gates are finished. Check it out. The gates are done, and you might notice I got some more cars in the background. If you guys watched the last video, you've seen how I put together some of these cars, how I got the paint off them, and I was talking about that. So go back, watch that video as well. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button while you're there. I'm gonna keep on saying that as many times as I can because I want people to come. I wanna make content for a lot of people. Anyway, so the gates are finished, and I really love how they came out. They're perfect, they're sturdy. They will fit in a case with no problem. If I wanna get these guys in a case with a couple of cars so I could set up the gates at another game shop or a convention or something, I have gates that are pretty much mobile on the go. I can make them as wide as I want, or I can make them as narrow as I want if I want to make things a little tougher for the drivers. So the double-sided, I got the green lights on one side, that means go in, and I got the red side on the other side. And I think they came out fantastic. What I did was I hit these off with some gunmetal by Vallejo. Then I hit it off with Nun Oil by Citadel Paints. Give it a wash of that. Then I hit it with the Natural Steel by Model Color. Vallejo line. And after I hit off with that, I went in there and I started the weathering process. And how I got the weathering process on these is very simple. I didn't use any powders or anything like that. What I did was I used a bunch of washes. So what I did was I hit it off with the Nun Oil that I already said. Then after I hit it with the Natural Steel by Vallejo, I went back in with another Citadel wash of the Reichländer Flesh Shade. Try and say that 5 times fast. So I went in there, hit it off with the Flesh Shade. Then I went back in there, hit off with some Camo Green. And then I washed it again a little bit with some more Nun Oil. But primarily I used Camo Green and I used the Flesh Wash. I got this nice weathered effect on the metal. I think it came out fantastic. And they're gonna do the job. So there are the gates, guys. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. I said this on my last video. If you like the content, do me a favor. Jump over to the YouTube channel, Faux Render. I'm gonna put a link in each video that I put on the Gaslands Facebook. Jump over there, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, whatever you wanna do to show me you wanna see more content. Now I got the nice cameras, I'm gonna be hooking them up. I wanna make sure that it's worth my time. So please do me a favor, get in there, even on the Facebook, jump in the comments, tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, what you wanna see in further videos. Right there, I'll talk to you later. Have a good night, have a good day. Whatever time schedule you guys are, listen, get off my case, okay? I know this game is around the whole world. I know it might be morning by you and it might be evening by me. But guess what? Whatever it is, have a good time. All right, I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.